Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Can you hear me? Please confirm in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you for your confirmations. Let us stop. Let us stop the chat. So what's our plan for today's session? We know what is VPC. We have understood the concept of subnets. We have practically done creating VPC, creating subnet. This is important. We'll be discussing about public subnet and private subnet. So what is public subnet? What is private subnet? And we'll also deal with a component called internet gateway. We'll be creating internet gateway. We'll be creating route table, and we'll also learn what are the steps followed to make a particular subnet public. So these are the new things what we are planning for today's session. So before getting into the concepts, let's obviously have interactions, starting with Dili Babu. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hi, Dili.
Yeah, hi, Sunil.
Yes.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. How are you? Thank you. So how is the learning going on with respect to AWS?
Yeah, actually, yesterday is my first class session.
Okay. So you are referred by someone?
You will start with, I don't know whether I will join in middle or starting, I don't know.
Okay. It's almost about to end. Okay.
Okay, no problem. But I know instances and everything. My question is here, okay. Nobody will do that one, but I want to edge scenario. Okay, if my subnet mask is 32, okay,
okay,
that I can create one. Okay,
only one EC2 machine.
Yeah. Now I made it my instance as auto scale.
That's not possible in such case.
Okay. That's what I want.
Okay. Yes, you're right.
I want to suppose, okay, even if I created 256 instances, my subnet mask is 256. Suppose if I created the 256 instance, 250 or something, auto scale.
So EC2 machine failures when you're creating 257th machine. Dili Babu. Okay. Yes. Okay. And we get the alert. We get the error message why it is getting the popped up. We get a pop up in the EC2 terminal, checking for VPC configurations. Okay.
Okay. And one more question. When I am giving the that IP address and the subnet mask, right? Okay.
Yes.
Can I change after that subnet mask?
Subnet masks are modifiable. You can change it anytime whenever you want to increase the size. Okay.
Okay, increase the. I can change the IP address.
Generally, decreasing will not done because anyways billing is not based on the size, isn't it?
Yeah.
So generally increasing can be possible. Yes, you're right.
What about IP address? If I change anything, is there any impact on instances or it won't impact?
Existing instances, there's no impact. Okay. No problem. And you can create new instances. There is a room to create new instances.
And new IP address. I'm talking about. I created the 10.0.0.0.
Okay.
Instance. After that, I have changed my IP address to 256.256. Like this.
No, IP address cannot be changed.
Okay, that's what. Okay.
The subnet mask value can be changed. The IP address series will be the same. That is the reason we have given a buffer of 0.0. Only first digit we are hard coding 10. Rest of it is flexible, right? Dili Babu. I hope you are understanding.
Yes, got it.
Perfect. Thank you. Good. Prabhu Royal, how are you doing, Prabhu?
Hi, Sunil. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for asking, Sunil. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yes, thank you. Your question.
Yeah, I have a question from yesterday's session. That how many partitions of subnets can we do?
Generally, there's no limitations.
No limitations.
Okay, but technically, a subnet, a VPC can have my 3, 4. That's it. Not more than that.
Okay. So so we do have the limit, right? So for example, like 256, like 6,000, sorry, 65,000 so on machines.
That's the size of the VPC as per the example. 1 minute.
Yeah. That is an example of.
When you create a subnet mask value as 16, the size will be, the VPC size will be 65,000.
Correct. So while creating these subnets inside the
VPC,
so does it calculate this 65,000 whatever space?
Yeah, obviously, because subnet is subset of VPC. So it is anyways part of 65,000 machines. Okay.
Okay.
Clear, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kumar, UK.
Hi, Sunil.
Hi, Kumar. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Doing well. Clear about whatever we have learned last session, Kumar?
Yes. So my query is that Sunil, like as you confirm in the previous one of the student you asked, like so
By
when
changing
you
the size
start,
of the VPC.
yeah, that is one thing. The reason that when you start the VPC is a 10.0.0.0. So now when I creating, that is my VPC, but when I creating a subnet, I cannot make it to 12.0.
You are right. You cannot make it because the IP addresses should be part of VPC, isn't it? So generally subnet will be subset of VPC, Kumar. Okay. So whatever the IP address series you are using in the VPC, the same series we use it inside the subnet. Good.
Okay. So if you have a,
let's
say if a restriction is a 256 and let's say assume that it's a 256 EC2 machine only I can create, right?
In the subnet. In the subnet.
So let's say if you want to increase it, so what would be the format would be again? So let's say 10.0.0.1.
No, you will change it to, instead of 16, write it as 15.
Yes,
okay.
Correct. Okay.
So it becomes 512.
512. So after 256, what could be the next? It will be
look at this. Look at, that's what I'm answering you now, Kumar.
Yeah, maximum 255 only can take, right?
Here in this case, you're talking about this one, right?
Yes.
Step 1 VPC. Okay, Kumar.
Yes,
this is the IP address followed subnet mask.
Correct. That is the small doubt.
Yeah. Your doubt will be clear. Next, we'll create 2 subnets.
Correct. Assume that you have a 256.
Yeah. I'll give you the value.
Yeah. Okay.
One 1.0 series for the first one.
Yeah.
2.0 for the second one, right?
Correct.
Okay. Next. Size of the VPC 65,536 machines, isn't it?
Yeah.
Size of the subnet is 256 machines. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Assuming all the 256 are full, assume.
Yeah.
Kumar, all the 256 machines are full. Okay.
Correct.
So in such case, let's visualize the IP addresses of those 256 machines. Okay.
Yes.
So it will be 10.0.1.0. 1.0.
It will go to till
1.1.
Go to till 255.
1.2 like this. 1.255. Right.
Correct. After that, that's my doubt. Yes.
That's your doubt. In such case, you should not give 1.0. You have to give 10.1.0.0 slash 23. Okay. So I'm not hard coding the third oct. I think this is called octant or whatever it is. I'm hard coding the second one. Okay. So in such case, Kumar, are you understanding? You have to provide this series. So what will the next number?
It will be again
10.1.0.0. Got it?
Yes.
Got it? Are you understanding?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
So that means you have to decide very early stage as well,
exactly.
Right?
When you're creating, we will be analyzing the existing infrastructure of the client, and we will double it or triple it. Size, we will increase it to maximum extent to the possible. That's not at all a problem. Okay, Kumar? Clear?
Okay. So
Did I answer your question?
Yes. So Sunil, another thing that let's say as you mentioned in the yesterday class, as you mentioned,
and one more thing here, it can be 1.0.0 or second option, it can be 10.0. It can take 2 series also, 2.0. Okay. Got it?
Okay.
2.1,
Yeah.
2.2, it will take it. Then 3 series also it can take it, because anyways, these two are flexible. It take any number, it only these two are hard coded. Okay.
Okay.
Clear, Kumar?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
I think
sir.
I have answered your first question.
Yes. Yes.
Next.
And second one is that Sunil, like as you mentioned that this series, because now that is my under your VPC, this is the series.
Yes.
Let's say, can I create the same my VPC, which is name my VPC? My VPC also name is my VPC, and I can start.
You're talking about in your AWS account, right?
In my AWS account.
Yeah, this is local to AWS. Yes, you are right. Okay.
Okay, so it is not going to be overlap.
No. This is all local to AWS account. Okay. This is if I have created my VPC with 10 series, Kumar, you can also create your own VPC in your account. It is in your local. Okay. This is all local to AWS. Okay. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's something like, for example, Kumar, you are living in an apartment and your apartment number is 6605. I can also live in my apartment, and my apartment number will also be 6. It's my local to my apartment. Agree? Isn't it? Something like that. These IP addresses are local to my AWS VPC. Your IP addresses will be local to your AWS account. Okay. Clear?
Okay. Yeah. Clear.
I think more, Kumar. You already know all this, whatever we are learning today, like internet gateway and then route table, public, how to make it subnet. You are aware of it, or is something new, Kumar?
Something new only. Little bit knowledge I have.
You already have it. Okay. So quick recap, Kumar. What did we learn last class? We have created one VPC. Is it? And the size of the VPC is 65,536. And inside the VPC, we have created 2 subnets, and each subnet is 256. As simple as that. Agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on from now. Thank you, Kumar.
Thank you.
So I'll be quickly completing the practicals, whatever we have done it yesterday, because we need to move on from there. So let's go ahead and create VPC. The name of the VPC is my VPC. And the first subnet which I want to create is a web subnet. Okay, so the name of the VPC is my VPC. And the second first subnet which I want to create is the web subnet. The second subnet what I want to create is DB subnet. Perfect. So let's do that. So let's complete practicals of whatever we had to do it till yesterday, and then we'll jump into the new concepts today. Services under networking and content delivery, we have a service called VPC. Your VPCs. This is a default VPC. My dear friends, please don't disturb the default VPCs and default subnets. Never disturb any default configurations. Go ahead and create something new. Okay, default is used by internally by AWS to manage your account. So let's go ahead and create a new VPC. The name of the VPC is my VPC. That's it. VPC has been created. Done. Next, you have to create subnets. Okay. And where is this VPC we have created? You can see there are 2 VPCs. This is the default one. This is the my VPC which I have created. This is the IP address followed to the subnet mask. And I am creating subnets. I'm creating a subnet. And where do you want to create the subnet? I want to create the subnet in my VPC. What's the name of the subnet? I'm naming it as web subnet. You can select any availability zone. I'm selecting the first availability zone. The IP address followed to the subnet mask value which I'm using is 1.0/24. create first subnet. Done with creating the first subnet, and I also want to create, this is the first subnet which I have created. I also want to create the second subnet. You can also see in which VPC the subnet has been created. I want to create second subnet which I also create in my VPC. The second subnet, I want it for database servers. So that's the reason I write it as DBSN. And in which availability zone you can select anything. I'm selecting it as first availability zone. The IP address series is 2.0 series. Perfect. Done. So I have created VPC. Inside the VPC, as you can see, the two subnets which are created, WebSN and DBSN. So we have, this is what we have done it in the last session. This is what we have done it in the last session. The size of the VPC is 65,536 and the size of the subnet is 256. The size of the second subnet is also 256. That's fine. Now let's move on. Kumar, can we talk?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
The subnet, the first subnet I have provided 10.0.1.0/24. This means I can have total 256 machines inside the first subnet. Agree?
Correct.
Okay. Look at the subnet which we have created. This is the subnet which you have created. Okay.
Yeah.
Scroll forward. In that subnet which you have created, that is in my VPC, you can see the available IP addresses as per our calculation, it should be 256, but it is showing as 251. Agree? In the same way, here also we are getting 256. As per our calculation, it should get 256, but it is showing as 251. So how many IP addresses are missing? 5 IP addresses are missing.
5 IP addresses, yes.
Observation in the IPv4 column, you can see the column name is available IP addresses. It is showing as 251, but we should get 2 power 8. That is nothing but 256. This means the 5 IP addresses are missing. In every subnet, 5 IP addresses are reserved by AWS. AWS will reserve the IP addresses in every subnet. Okay, search in Google the reserved IP addresses in AWS, you will get the information.
Yes, you're right.
How do you know?
Just heard.
You have heard it?
Yes. I've heard it that the few IP addresses will be reserved by AWS.
Yes, for their internal use.
Internal use, correct.
Kumar, the first 4 IP address and the last IP address. Which IP addresses is also blocked? Also, it is prefixed. The first 4 IP addresses in the subnet and the last IP address in the subnet are not available for you to use.
Yes.
Okay. So this is just internal reserved by AWS. This is for AWS for their routers. This is reserved for AWS. This is for reserved for future use. This is for broadcasting. Some internal use. Okay. So remember this point. Okay. Clear. Next. So that's the reason we have 250 instead of 256. We have 251. Right. Fine. Next point to remember. Very, very important point. Next very important point to keep note. Look at the statement. Note, by default, every subnet is private. Every subnet by default is private. How many subnets we have created? 2 subnets we have created. One is web subnet, the other one is DB subnet. Both these subnets, both the subnets which we have created, yes, are private. You may have questions, Sunil, what do you mean by private? The meaning of the term private is, if you create an EC2 machine, in this particular private subnets, nobody in the world can connect. Nobody in the world can connect to the infrastructure which is created inside the private subnet. If nobody is able to connect, it's meaningless, right? It's useless. Nobody can use it. So there's no meaning in creating it. So the concept of private is nothing but it's nobody in the world can connect. It's not open to public. Nobody can connect to the infrastructure which is created in the private subnet. So the default in the interview, they'll ask you, what is the default behavior of subnet? Your answer should be the default subnet behavior is private. What even if private subnet? It's nobody can able to connect to the infrastructure which is created inside the private subnet. Let's move on. The first subnet, I want to, it's a web server. I want to have, what is the reason for creating subnet? I want to group all the public, all the web servers, Kumar. That's the reason, right? Why are we grouping, why are we making again partition inside the VPC to group the servers? There are different types of servers called web servers and database servers, isn't it, Kumar? I want to place the web servers in the First subnet. I want to place the web servers in the first subnet. If you create web servers, it should be available to public. The point is web server should be available to public. Look at this. I am opening ICICIbank.com. The moment I write ICICIbank.com and I press enter, I get a web page. No doubt on that. I'm getting a web page. No doubt you're getting a web page. You can see here you're getting a web page. From where I am getting the web page? I'm getting the page from the web server. Web server should be available to everybody. I may be in India, I may be in US, or you may be in Australia. Anybody should be able to go connect to ICICI Bank. So the web server should be available to everybody.
Yes.
That's the concept. I want to do online shopping. I write I use Amazon.in. The request will go to web server. It should be available to public. How do you provide your applications to public? Your website should be available to public. Every website should be public. So web servers should be always global, accessible by worldwide. That means if you create this web server in a private subnet, there's no meaning and nobody can connect to ICICIbank.com. That means as you want the web servers to be available to public, you should make this particular subnet. My dear friends, we should make this particular subnet as public. You're right.
Yes, Sunil.
We have to make the subnet public. We should learn how to make the subnet public because the default subnet behavior is private. When the default behavior is private, nobody can connect. Now, how do you provide your applications to your customers? Customers are there all over the world. I want to access a movie using Netflix. If I am not able to connect, there is no meaning in it. That should be available to public. Web server should be available to public. If the web server should be available to public, you have to make the first subnet. We have to make the first subnet. As you're planning for first subnet to have web servers, you want to make the subnet public. Let's learn the steps to be followed to make the subnet as public. Let's learn the steps we need to follow to make a particular subnet as public. Very important from the interview point of view. The default behavior of subnet is private. We want to make one subnet as public. We have two subnets. I want to make the first subnet as public. I want to make the web server. The subnet which I have created is for web servers. So I have created with a subnet WebSN, keeping in view the web server. So I want to make that as public. Okay. So whenever you want to make a subnet public, it's a two-step process. Okay. It's a two-step process. So before showing you how to make the subnet public by following a two-step process, let's have a quick couple of interaction and then get into practicals. Yes, Jai Singh, your question, please.
Hi Sunil, how are you doing? Can you hear me properly?
I can hear you clearly, Jai.
Okay. So I'm very well. Thanks for asking. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. You're from which location?
I'm from UP, Lucknow.
Okay. I think
And
it is Pink City?
no, that is Jaipur.
Okay.
Lucknow,
Okay.
state capital of Uttar Pradesh.
Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath?
Yes.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay. CM, yes.
Or you can call BHU or Banaras
Okay.
Hindu University or AMU,
Okay.
whatever you like.
That's a popular university, isn't it? A old university,
Yes,
I think,
yes.
so, right?
BHU
think-
holds third rank among India.
And many scholars are from that university,
Yes.
I think so.
Uh,
It has a lot of
so-
historical importance, I think so, right?
Yes, exactly. So now coming back to my
To this
question.
technical,
So
yes.
you are doing an excellent job, and this is the second time when I'm interacting with you. So I have, attending all the sessions,
Mhm.
and trust me, it is wonderful.
Thank
My
you.
experience, wonderful.
Thank
And
you.
my humble request is that I have each and every scenario is clear, whatever you taught us. And question is, first, whatever you taught us here in the session. So my question is about the interview prospect, interview, like for interview. If I go through most of the web pages and somewhere, so if I ask like, what is VPC and other, so these questions are very, very normal. And in each and every interview, interviewer want to ask like how I'll migrate my on-prem infrastructure to cloud. They want a complete solution. So I have a request to you. Can
to
you
go to more detailed, advanced level of AWS?
No, not like that.
That's what.
Can you prepare a questionnaire and put your in WhatsApp or Telegram group? But 5 to 20 at least such as specific questions, not from the general, like what is VPC, what is EC2. So these questions are very, very normal and I can get anywhere in the web. But
yes,
since you are an experienced guy and you have, good enough experience in this domain, so I'm requesting you kindly prepare and deliver such scenario which can help us to crack any interview.
Sure.
And
no, first point.
Hope I'm clear what I'm asking you.
Yeah. First point. This training is targeted for beginner to medium level. Okay, who are completely zero in AWS. Okay, we will be bringing this to a substantial, strong platform where they can leverage their skills and they can explore themselves. That's the first agenda behind this course. So bringing them to a beginner to medium level chasing. Okay, and this is an associate level training. So that's the reason this is not more in detail. Okay, there's one more course called professional level chasing. Okay, there's second one more course. This is beginner level training. Am I right? There's one more level training called as an advanced level training. In the advanced level training, all the migration part, whatever you are expecting, that will be covered in the advanced level training.
So whatever I ask you is related to advanced level?
Yes. We are not covering migration services or something like that. We are covering basic services which are used by all the clients, the common services. Okay, but anyways, one good question you said is to prepare some set of frequently asked questions specific to one service. So that will be handy for you.
And
okay, handy for us.
Second, if we all looking for internship, I mean, all participants in this session want to go for internship. So would request you if you post any internship, because till the time when I attended this session, didn't found anyone. So just humble request.
Okay. Any useful information with respect to internships and jobs? Anyways, our team is responding and posting the jobs in the LinkedIn groups. Okay, are you in our LinkedIn group, Jason?
No, sir. I don't think so. I don't have that LinkedIn group.
Okay. So I'll share the LinkedIn group. So please follow that LinkedIn group. We'll be keeping on posting some opportunities, whatever we come across through our network. And then, yes, we'll improve by considering your inputs. Okay.
Sunil, please help us in UK.
Thank you, Jason.
Sunil,
Thanks,
please help us in UK. Any job?
You're from Scotland. Are you the same person from Scotland?
No, I'm from England.
Okay. Sure. Recently, one candidate got job in UK, Kumar. Okay. So on DevOps and AWS, I'll check with in her, and if there is any openings in the same organization, I'll share the information.
So would you mind to connect me to that person, Sunil, maybe after this training, if you don't mind.
Sure. Okay. Ping me on WhatsApp, Kumar.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Kumar, what's our plan now? We are making a particular subnet public.
Yes.
Okay. Whenever you want to make a subnet public, step one, you need to enable public IP at subnet level. There are two subnets, the web subnet and the DB subnet. Which one we are planning to make it public? The first subnet, the WebSN, we are planning to make public. Whenever you want to make the subnet as public, step one, what you have to do, you have to enable you have to enable public IP at the subnet level. Let's learn how can we do it. Select the subnet. Which you want to make it public. This is the subnet which you want to make it public. Actions. Modify auto assign IP settings and enable public IPs. That's first thing you have to do it. Done. Next thing. Create an internet gateway and attach the internet gateway to VPC. Now I am introducing you one more component. I'll be creating the internet gateway component, and observe the diagram. The internet gateway component is attached to VPC. You have to create internet gateway, and you have to attach that internet gateway to the VPC. What is internet gateway? What is the job done by that particular component? We'll do it. I'll show you. First, let's do the practicals. How can you create internet gateway? Yes, you can see there's a component called internet gateways in the VPC dashboard. Everything is clearly, all the components are clearly listed in the dashboard. Go to internet gateway. By default, there's an existing internet gateway, and we should never disturb the existing settings. Go ahead and create a new internet gateway. What is the name of the internet gateway? Name can be anything. I'm writing it as my IGW. This is the name of the internet gateway, which I'm creating. The internet gateway component has been successfully created. Where can you see the internet gateway which you have created? Obviously in the dashboard of internet gateways, and you can see this is the default internet gateway. Don't disturb the default setting. This is the internet gateway which you have created. Right now the status is detached. As per the diagram, the internet gateway should be attached. To which you have to attach it? Obviously to attach, you have to attach it to VPC. So select the internet gateway which you want, and then in action there's an option called attach to VPC, and then you want to attach it to obviously the VPC which you have created, my VPC. Done. You have created internet gateway, and you also have attached the internet gateway to the VPC. Okay. What is the purpose of the internet gateway? What is the purpose of the internet gateway? Internet gateway will help you to provide internet connectivity. By default, the VPC will not have internet connectivity at all. How can one machine communicate to other machine? Only when it is connected to internet. Kumar, I want to send you a WhatsApp message. If I want to send you a WhatsApp message, my mobile file should have an internet connectivity, and your mobile file should also have an internet connectivity. Then only communication happens. Agree
Yes.
or not? So from my personal laptop, if I'm opening ICICIbank.com, the request should go to web server. When the request will go to web server, if the web server EC2 machine will have an internet connectivity, then only the connection occurs, and then I can get the web page. Otherwise, I cannot get the web page. Am I right?
Yes.
So the point
Absolutely.
is, your entire subnet should have internet connectivity. The purpose of the internet gateway is to provide internet connectivity to the subnet level. The purpose of the internet gateway is to provide internet connectivity not to EC2 machine level, not to one specific EC2. It is to entire subnet.
Subnet level.
So that's the reason I have created a component called internet gateway. The purpose behind the internet gateway is to provide internet connectivity to the subnet. To which subnet you want internet connectivity? My dear friends, we want the internet connectivity to the first subnet, WebSN. Next point. Internet gateways cannot be connected to subnet directly. No, it's not possible. Internet gateway cannot be directly connected to subnet. It's not possible. So you need to take help of one more component called route table. You need to take help of a route table. You need to create one more component called route table. Route table is something like an adapter, which helps in communicating between the subnets and the internet gateways in this context. The purpose of the internet gateway is to provide internet connectivity. That's the reason we got create internet connectivity. Very good. But the internet gateways cannot be connected to subnet directly. So for that, you have to create one more component called route table. We cannot look at this. We cannot attach internet gateway to subnet. For that, we have to create a route table. Let's go ahead and create route table. How to create a route table? Everything is there in the dashboard. As I told you, here we have an option called route table. Here we have internet gateways. Here we have subnets. Everything is clearly listed in the dashboard. So what you want to do now? You want to create a route table. Okay, let's go ahead and create it. Where can you create the route table? Everything is there clearly mentioned in the screen, the dashboard. So go to route tables. Observe there are two route tables. Observe there are two route tables. One route table is related to default VPC, and this route table is related to the new VPC. Okay, so I remember that one route table got created automatically when you create a VPC, my VPC. That means you have to understand that this particular route table got created when you created a new VPC. So don't worry about all these existing route tables. Go ahead and create a new route table. Go ahead and create a route table. As this route table name can be anything. I'm creating a new route table. Let's go ahead and create a new route table. Name of the route table. Name can be anything. I can write my name also. Sunil as the name of the route table. Let's have a meaningful name. As this route table helps to provide internet connectivity, so I'm writing it as internet RT. I want to end the route table as RT. And where do you want to create the route table? Obviously, you want to create the route table inside the VPC, right? So here you are clearly mentioned where do you want to create the route table. I want to create the route table inside the VPC. Route table successfully created. Route table success. This is the name of the route table which you have already created. Perfect. This is the route table we have created, right? This is the route table which you have created. Very good. So component is also ready. Next. Route table is created. Next. One end of the route table we will be connecting to subnet. Agree? And one more end of the route table we will be connecting to internet gateway. So that's how the subnet will start receiving the internet connectivity. Am I right, Kumar?
Yes, Sunil.
Okay, so we already have learned created a component called route table. The first thing what I'll do, I'll attach the route table to subnet.
Okay.
This is the route table which you have created. Actions, edit subnet associations. And you clearly mentioned to which subnet you want to attach it to the web subnet. Done. So one part is done, one end is done. One end of the route table you have created to subnet. Next, one more end of the route table you need to connect to internet gateways. How do you do that? Again, select the route table, actions, edit routes. You need to go to edit route. And then you need to add the route. Your target should be internet gateway because you want to connect to which component? You need to connect to internet gateway. And you can see the internet gateway which you have already created. You can see this is the name of the internet gateway. And you want this connectivity to be available to public. Anybody in the world should be able to connect to this particular subnet. You have tried 0.0.0.0/0. That's mandatory. Destination should be public. When it is public, you should write 0.0.0.0/0. Click on save. So what I have done, Kumar, I have attached the route table to subnet, and one more end of the route table I have attached to internet gateway. Now your subnet becomes public. So these are the steps we need to follow. These are the steps we need to follow to make the subnet public.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Quick recap. The default behavior of subnet is private. You want to make the subnet public. Obviously, web servers should always be placed in the public subnets only. Web servers should be always placed in the public subnet only. So if you want to make a public subnet, so first you have to enable IP addresses at the subnet level. Next, your entire VPC will not have internet connectivity by default. So you need to create an internet gateway component, attach the internet gateway to the VPC, and internet gateways cannot be connected to subnet directly. So you need to take help of a route table component. You have created route table, one end of the route table. You're connected to subnet, one more end of the route table. You have connected to internet gateway. Now your entire subnet will get the internet connectivity. Perfect. Now can I create EC2 machine? Now, Kumar, what I want to do, I want to create a EC2 machine inside my VPC, and inside the my VPC, there are two subnets. I want to create the EC2 machine in my first subnet. Let's go ahead. Till now, we have learned how to create EC2 machines, Kumar, no doubt on that. But this is the first time we are creating EC2 machines inside the VPC, and inside the VPC, inside the subnet, we are creating the EC2 machine. So let's move on. Before creating an EC2 machine, let's have quick interaction with Anuradha. Your question, please, Anuradha.
Yeah, hi Sunil.
Yep.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can I use 0 in subnet mask place?
You're talking about the 16 instead of 16 or instead of 24?
No, instead of 16.
16.0.
Yes.
You know the value behind that? What will be the value? Maximum number is 32. You're using 0, you have to subtract it. That is nothing but 32. So the size of the VPC is 2 power 32.
32.
Do you know the value of 2 power 32?
Yes, I think 429 crores.
Yes. If you need those many number of EC2 missions, go ahead and do it. Okay. Okay.
I'm asking, it is correct or not? That's
No,
it.
technically, mathematically it is correct, but technically it is not possible. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes. Anything more clear about the component of internet gateway route table, subnet, private, public? Anuradha?
Yes, yes.
So what we are doing now, we are creating an EC2 machine inside the VPC, and inside the VPC also, we are creating the EC2 machine in the first subnet. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So for that, as I want to create a EC2 machine, so we have to go to EC2 service. So don't worry about the existing instances. We are launching the new instance. I'm going with Amazon Linux operating system. T2 micro is just enough for me. Next, step 3. Where do you want to create the VPs? Where do you want to create the EC2 machine? In my own network, in my own partition. Here you can see network. Here is nothing but the VPC information. You can clearly mention that I want to create the EC2 machine inside my VPC. In your VPC, there are 2 subnets, WebSN and DBSN. You have to clearly mention where do you want to create the EC2 machine. I want to create the EC2 machine in my first subnet. Perfect. That's it. Okay, and in the step 3 itself, we have the bootstrap scripts which make my web server, which will run these commands and make my EC2 machine as a web server. Okay, perfect. And I want to name the security group WebSG. Name of the security group can be anything, WebSG. With today's date, I write it as 23. And I'm opening 2 ports for my EC2 machine, SSH port in case if I want to connect using PuTTY, HTTP port as I want to access it from the browser. Create a new security group, name of the security group. And what ports I'm opening. SSH port, I am also opening. HTTP port, source, I write it as anybody in the world can connect. That's it, the name of the security group, WebSG, and I download the key pair. Review and launch, click on launch, create a new key pair. I want to name it as web KP with today's date 23. Download in my desktop. Anywhere you can download it. I'm downloading in the Sunil folder, downloading it. Launch instances. This is the first time you're creating an EC2 machine in your own VPC, and in your VPC, you're creating it in your own partition. So I am naming it as web server. Let's wait for the machine to be created. Can we create an EC2 machine in the private subnet? Can we create an EC2 machine in the private subnet? No doubt you can do it. Generally, database servers should be highly protected. That's the reason database servers like Oracle servers or MySQL servers, SQL server. Okay, so all the database instances should be always placed in the private subnets only for higher security. Okay, there's a lot of security issues with respect to database. If the database is hacked, the complete business is lost. So to be more secure, the database instances will be always created in the private, that DB instances should always be created in the private subnets. So let's go ahead and create an EC2 machine and inside the private subnet. Okay, so let's quickly do that, and I name the security group as DBSG 23. And very important part you have to understand here. Okay. So before going ahead and creating the EC2 machine, a private subnet, so let's wait for the EC2 machine to get created. Web server, I think, is running. Kumar, quick observation.
Yeah.
This EC2 machine is inside the first subnet, right?
Correct.
You can see the IP address is taking the same series, 10.0.1 series. Because I have hard-coded one series, right? 1.0. So it takes one number. It can be 1.0, 1.10. The last digit is dynamically picks up, but it takes this one series only. Okay.
Yeah. Taken dynamically, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
taken dynamically, but it follows our own series. Okay. And is it available to public? Can I take the public IP and then can I access the web page?
Yes.
So you should get the My Google page. I think it will take some time to get responded. Yes, it's, are you getting My Google 2 page? Not only me, anybody in the world can access my web server. That's how the web servers are defined. I'm copying the IP address in the chat box. My dear friends, pick up the IP address in the chat box. And are you able to access my web server from anywhere in the world? You may be in any part of the world. Are you able to access my web server? Kumar, could you please pick up it and respond?
Yes, Sunil.
Are you getting the same page what I'm getting? 13.233.19.99.48. My dear friends, are you getting the same page what I'm getting? So this means, if yes, type yes in the chat box. This means it's something like icicibank.com. Anybody in the world can able to access, Kumar. Are you understanding? Yes. So
Yes.
that's how web server should always be available to everybody. Everybody should able to connect facebook.com. Everybody should able to connect icicibank.com. Everybody should able to connect HDFC Bank. So web servers, the concept is availability to public. Next point, Kumar, let's say I'm connecting to icicibank.com. Okay. That means I'm connecting to web server. Once I connect to web server and I enter my login username and password. Okay. When I click on mini statement in the login page, Kumar, when I click on mini statement, I get the last 10 transactions. Agree or not? So yes. Those 10 transactions, from where I will get it? I get it from the database server. Yes. So database server is altogether a completely different EC2 machine. Okay. So for security reasons, the database should always be the private, and communication to the database server should be via web server. Okay. Database server should not be exposed to world. When it is exposed to world, there's a risk of hacking. Yes. Database server, yes, we should able to get the database. When I click on my history, I should able to get the database, right? No doubt. When I click on mini statement, I'm able to get the last 10 records. When I click on monthly statement, I get all the 10 transactions. No doubt I'm able to get the database. It should be through the web server. That is the highest security. You should not create database servers inside the public subnet. That is vulnerable. That's the reason of importance of private and public. You have to create the DB instances in the private subnet only. Perfect. Okay. So let's go ahead and create one EC2 machine inside the private subnet. Generally, the EC2 machines which are created inside the private subnets are database servers. So I want to create a DB instance inside the private subnet. And when you're creating a DB instance, you have to, whenever you want to communicate, you have to open port. Okay. You have to open the ports, and communication between web server to DB server will happen using the MySQL port, and that port should be open to entire subnet only. You cannot restrict into the EC2 level. The web server will communicate to the database server using MySQL port. So you have to open MySQL port, and that MySQL port should not be open to one specific EC2 machine. It should be open to the entire subnet level. Why we have to create for entire subnet? Because Kumar, in future, because of auto scaling, the new EC2 machine gets created. Then that new EC2 machine should also be able to access the database. Agree? Correct. So it's not specific to one EC2 machine. It's specific to the entire subnet level. So the next thing. Is there any provision that I can connect to only the EC2 level? Not if you want, you can do that. If you, instead of entire subnet level, I'll show you where we need to provide. If you want to open to specific EC2 machine, you can do that. But it's always good practice to provide the open database. Can I open to the entire subnet level? Okay. Subnet level. Okay. Yes. So let's do that. So what we are creating now, we are creating a new EC2 machine, say the private subnet, and that particular MySQL port we are opening to the entire web subnet series. Okay. So we are launching the database server inside the private subnet. So again, new EC2 machine. I go with Amazon Linux, obviously T2 Micro. Next, where I want to create inside my VPC and which subnet I want to create. I want to create it in the second subnet, that is DBSN. Next, configuring security group. Yes, I want to create a new security group. The name of the security group is DBSC23. And what port I need to open. So communication happens using MySQL. This is the MySQL port. Generally communication, assuming is 3306. So it's MySQL port, and range here, I will mention 10.0. Kumar, I'm mentioning 10.0.1.0/24. Okay, what do you mean 1.0/24? Generally, is /24 is nothing but how many 256 EC2 machines? 256 EC2 machines having the series 1 series. Any series starting with this particular 1 series can communicate using the MySQL port. Are you understanding? Perfect. If
Yes,
it is,
yes.
if you want to specify only one EC2 machine, you can mention one IP address. Let's say 1.144. Okay, only that EC2 machine can connect. Okay, are you understanding? Now
Yes.
it's not specific to one EC2 machine, it's for the entire subnet. I'm writing 10.0/24. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay, so and click on review and launch. Click on launch, create a new key pair. dbkp, download the key pair. I want download in my desktop subnet folder. Launch instances. View instances. This is DB server. Perfect. So VB server, what IP address it has taken 2 series, Kumar. Okay, you can see it is clearly taken 2 series. That is, it is not available in the second subnet. Got it? Perfect.
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. Observe the private IP address of the web server is 1 series. The DB server IP address is 2 series. And next very important point of observation, my dear friends. Generally, every EC2 machine will have 2 IP addresses, public IP and private IP.
Right.
This is the first time in our training course, this is the first time you're experiencing a EC2 machine which is not having IP address at all, public IP at all. This is the first time you're experiencing an EC2 machine which is not having a public IP at all. It is not having a public IP at all. It is not connected. Nobody can connect in the world to this particular EC2 machine. Only within the network only you can connect, that too with the help of private IP addresses. That's all. I understand. Highly secure. As I mentioned, VPS is all about VPC, virtual private cloud, is all about increasing the level of security for our clients. There's no specific usage. EC2 service is having usage. S3 is having utility. You can store some information. VPC, there's no specific utility. It increases the level of security, which is most important point for our client. So you're experiencing, whenever you observe an EC2 machine which is not having a public IP, that means you have to understand that it is inside the private subnet. Perfect. You
That
can see
means
here,
this DB server is not exposed to the public world.
nobody can connect publicly to this particular DB server. So you can see here, private IP is 2 series, and it is not having public IP. The private IP is. Now let's check the web server. Web server is, we already have checked it. It is available public to world. Okay. Okay. Now coming to this particular EC2 machine, so the web server is anyways public to world. Public, anybody in the world can connect. Agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Anybody in the world can connect. Let's have some testing scenarios. Okay. Let's detach the route table to the public subnet. Detach the route table to public subnet. So that means we are disconnecting this. When you disconnect this, internet connection will be lost. When the internet connection is lost, public cannot access the web server. Agree? So let's disconnect it. So go to VPC dashboard, go to route tables, select the route table. This is the route table which you have created. Actions, edit subnet associations, and I am removing the route table to the subnet connectivity and click on save. The connection is lost. Once the connection is lost, if you try to access the web page, you will not get it. I'm copying the same IP address. I'm opening from a new window. It will take time to get to disconnect it. Now I think it will not get it. So are you getting the page, Kumar? Are you getting the page? You are not getting the page. The IP address is the same, but 113.233.99.148. The IP address is the same. You are not getting the page because the internet connection is disconnected. So that's the purpose of the route table. Let's connect it back. So you have to understand actions, edit subnet associations, and I want to attach it to web subnet. Once it is attached, it will take some time, 1 minute time to get activated and to start receiving the connectivity. Okay, now I think we are getting it. Yes, perfect. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Now, can we connect it to this particular EC2 machine from PuTTY? Can you connect to the EC2 machine from PuTTY? Yes, you can do that because we have opened both the ports. SSH port also we have opened and HTTP port we have opened. So you can also connect it using PuTTY. Okay. Okay. So that's also no problem. You don't need to worry about this. So can you connect to database server using PuTTY? Impossible. Nothing can be connected to private server. So as an instance, whenever a EC2 machine is in a private subnet, it is not having internet availability. You cannot access it from anybody in the world. So this is what the components, what we have learned in today's session. We have know how to make the subnet as public. Okay, and what is the importance of the public subnet? Generally, web servers are placed in a public subnet because you want all over the world to access that particular website. So whenever you want a particular web server to be available to the world, obviously, like Flipkart, Netflix, Amazon Prime. So obviously they should be available to public. So that is the reason we will be placing it in the public subnet. The security is all about database instances. So for higher level of security, we will be always creating the database instances in the private subnet, and the database instances are available to connect from the via public subnet, via web server. So communication happens something like ICICIbank.com. Your request will go to web page, and then when the credentials are accepted, when you click on mini statement, the request, as we open MySQL port, the request will go to web server, and then you get the last 10 transactions that are displayed to users. So that's how VPC helps in increasing the layer of security. Okay. Yes, Kumar. Please unmute.
Yeah. So here, when you create a DB server in the private network, private subnet, so you have given the range like 10.0.2.0 and /24, right?
Not 2.0. We have provided 1.0.
In the DB server, I'm talking about DB subnet.
Okay, in the DB subnet, what did we give?
You have given the 2 series, right? 10.0.2.
Yeah, the subnet level, I have provided 2 series.
Yes. So when you attach to the subnet level, right? So can you?
Now, where are we attaching? First point.
My question is that when let's say in that taking the example of web server,
you're talking about security group.
Security group. So how it is connected internally? That's the query. Like from when you put a request, let's say ICS is the example. It will come to hit the web server. From hit server, let's say you put in the username and password and then connect to the database server. Is it?
Yes. Yes.
So how it is connected internally?
Now, do you remember how exactly the client will communicate? We'll be providing that DNS names, and we'll be providing that schema name, username, and password in the web server. Okay, that is handled from the backend and front-end connectivity. If your front-end is a Java technology, if the backend is an Oracle, that will be handled by the Oracle. Will be providing the TNS entries using that the connection happens. Kumar, okay? That is handled at the technology level. Clear?
Okay, so but reason that my query is that, Sunil, when it is connected, you in my VPC the boundary, I can have multiple private and public, right? Or I can have only 2 subnets I can create it.
No. You can create 3rd subnet, 4th subnet. There's no restriction.
No restriction. So when you have a
but generally all the database servers will be there in one subnet, private subnet. Generally, all the web servers will be available in one public subnet.
So how the DB
That's the
server
standard
will get
practice.
a request is come from it's a 10.1 series. Assume that, sir, we have another
No.
public subnet.
First point, Kumar.
Yeah. Are you getting my point, Sunil? What I'm
Yes.
trying to.
Yeah. This is the SQL database client where we write the
Correct.
SQL queries.
Yeah.
You can understand this particular Windows machine is a web server. Okay.
Yes.
Can you see the background? This particular Windows machine, visualize that as a web server. Okay.
Web server. Yeah.
And I am providing the connection details. It gets connected to the
DB server.
different server. And this is the terminal which is running on the web server.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting the data to the web server? Okay. How that is handled? That is handled at the client by installing the client software. And there's some TNS names at entry where you have to mention the IP address of the database. Okay. And the username, password. So that is handled at the product level, Kumar. Okay. Are you understanding? That is not handled at the AWS level. I hope you are understanding the question. Okay. Yes. So one client can communicate to database server. That is possible only when that is handled at the product level. Okay. Okay. So Atul, your question, please.
Hi, thank you, Sunil, first of all.
Thank you.
My question
Clear
is
about the importance of each and every component. What is the importance of internet gateway? What is the importance of route table? What is private subnet? Why should we make a subnet as public and why should we make a subnet as private?
yes. Yeah, Sunil, my question is if there are 5 IP addresses would be reserved across each subnet.
Yeah.
Right? What we,
So instead of 256, we'll have 251 is the size of the subnet.
Yes, and if it happens that I need that one particular IP address which is reserved? My question is.
No. You cannot access that particular IP address. Okay.
Yeah,
that is reserved.
Yeah, just a follow-up question. I'm asking this question because I am working on a project wherein we are moving some on-prem machines to cloud, like
cloud.
EOC. And I am very much doubtful that some of the machines will have the IP addresses which are actually being reserved by the cloud provider.
How many IP addresses are reserved? Only 5 are reserved.
Yes.
Okay. That you cannot control it, Atul. Okay. One out of those 5 is the first 4 IP addresses and the last IP address. For example, in our case, 10.0.1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3.
Yes.
And 1.255.
Right.
So if you say that I want to use 1.0, that is not possible. Okay. That is internally control of AWS. Okay, Atul?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Sripati.
Hello.
Hi, Sripati. How are you?
Hi, Sunil. I'm doing good. How are you? Thank you.
I'm doing well. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, my question is, we created the VPC and given the subnet is 16, right?
That is
which
mask,
means,
subnet, mask.
Yeah,
Don't say
mask.
subnet.
Yes. Which means we can create around 65,500 EC2
You're
machines.
right. You're right.
And can we create same number of subnets? Or
how many subnets you want to create? 65,000 subnets you want to create?
No, I don't want to create those many, but is there any restriction?
Generally, technically it is not allowed, but theoretically 50 subnets are allowed inside VPC to my knowledge, not more than that. Okay.
So it is for EC2 machines and both subnets and EC2 machines for both, right? The number 65,536.
65,536 EC2 machines are allowed in the VPC. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, you can have 65,000 partitions and then each partition can have one EC2 machine. Okay, Sripati.
Yeah.
That's also possible, but technically it will not happen, isn't it, Sripati?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, correct.
so as per my knowledge, the restriction what AWS says that if you create more than 50 subnets, okay, then you will get
Okay.
a call from the AWS team not to create more than that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thanks,
but
Sunil.
practically, do you think how many subnets a VPC will have? Hardly 5 to 6. Okay,
Yes,
this
correct.
majority, maximum.
Correct.
Okay, in a particular subnet. Generally, you will find 2, 3 partitions. Okay,
Correct. Yeah.
clear, Sripati?
Yeah. Thanks, Sunil.
Thank you. Sandeep. Your question, Sandeep, I can see your hand raise. Adarsh. Adarsh Sharma. Bharat Jain.
Hi, sir.
Hi,
This
Bharat.
is Bharat.
How are you?
Hi, sir. Yes, sir. Fine, fit and fiddle.
I'm fine. Thank
Actually,
you.
sir,
Yes, Bharat.
I'm calling from Jaipur.
Okay.
My question is, sir, if I connected ICICI from my laptop to connected to ICICI bank portal, so what is the if I go trace route,
If
then if I search on CMD to trace route.
Okay. Okay.
So what is the path flow? It means first it is showing my IP, then it is going to IGW.
Yes, you're right. First it will go to IGW and then route table. Okay. And then to the EC2. Okay.
Okay.
That's the tracing.
And another question is that
yes.
On DBSN subnet, we have all the IP are private.
Obviously, that EC2 machine is not having IP address at all, isn't it? That's most.
Yeah. So if we have a working on organization and how do I connect
yes.
those?
So assuming a DBA, okay,
yeah.
Bharat, assuming a DBA wants to connect, okay. If a DBA wants to connect and do some configuration activities, they're using the 1 minute. So Bharat, now as you said, if a DBA wants to connect, even DBA cannot connect. So as an AWS engineer, you have to provide a solution to the DBA so that they can connect and do some maintenance activity. As of now, with this infrastructure, even DBA cannot connect. But how can it be possible? You have to provide a solution for database administrators to connect it. For that, we will be taking one more component called Bastion server. For that, we'll be taking one more component called Bastion server that we'll be discussing in tomorrow's session, Bharat. Okay. How can we provide solutions to the DBAs? Okay. Got it? And deletion process is also very, very important. My dear friends, deletion process is also important. Please follow the deletion process. Terminate both the EC2 machines which you have created in this particular session. That is nothing but the web server and DB server. Terminated. Let's wait for the machines to get terminated. Next, when you delete the VPC, what happens is the subnets will also be deleted. The internet gateway will also be deleted. The route table will also be deleted. Everything, all the components which you are inside the VPC, they also get deleted. So I'll show you. Let's wait for the EC2 machines to get deleted first. Yes, the EC2 machine is terminated. Now let's go to VPC dashboard. This is the VPC dashboard. So you don't need to delete the subnets and route tables. Directly select the VPC. When you try to delete the VPC, it is showing you, look at this. When you delete the VPC, the following will also be deleted. The following 6 resources will also be deleted. The subnets will also be deleted. Internet route table will also be deleted. Route table will be deleted. Internet gateway will also be deleted. Yes, I want to delete all at once. Delete. So all the components of VPC which we have created for this session is also deleted. Okay, so this is what we have learned. We have met our agenda. You now know how to make subnet public. What is the importance of route table? What is the importance of the gateway? What's the plan for tomorrow? Tomorrow we will be introducing you two more components called Bastion server and NAT gateway. What is Bastion server? What is NAT gateway? Much more interesting concepts of continuation to this session will be done on tomorrow's session. So until then, please practice. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.